Hello, Marky. How you doing?
Yeah, good mate. Yeah, morning, Mark. How are you?
Good to be back. Yeah.
Yeah,
On our own. Background looks a bit. Mm,
yes,
studio cold.
yeah. Don't look too bad, mate. The old the brickies have been in, yeah.
Yeah. How's your New Year been?
It's yeah. Personally, New Year's been good, mate. It's been nice to have a bit of time off over Christmas, and yeah, had a nice New Year. I think work wise, it's still quiet out there, mate. It's really quiet. We really frustratingly we picked up before Christmas, and then as we've got back, it seems to have gone fairly quiet out there, mate. What about yourself?
Yeah, same. I think it's been very difficult for people. It depends who you talk to, doesn't it? It depends who you talk to. Some people are saying that it's great for them. I know some independent hire companies that have had like record months. Record January, one particular smaller independent, and I just think, well, the rest of us are, you know, depends who you talk to, Mark. Really, I think the major hire businesses are still struggling. Um, some of the supply chain people I've seen a drop. One particular company I know for like the whole of last year they've gone from like 15 million to 7 million turnover as a supply company. That's a bit tough, but they've remained profitable, but they've had to make a lot of redundancies. And I think that's the theme, isn't it, of
Yeah,
construction?
and that's the thing I've noticed in the media lately. There's been a lot of companies going into administration, certainly in the last week, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, there's meant to be record sign off on the old planning from London anyway. But they're all small footprint. They don't really help your business, is it? With large machinery, they're all small footprint in London, high rise uh, properties and bits and pieces. But yeah.
That's
So,
always
Mark,
the.
what's
That's
uh,
the.
what's been doing your head in there, Mark? Come on,
Oh,
tell me.
I'll tell you what's been doing my head, Mark. You can't make this up, right? So, the water company, Southeast Water, where I live, have had issues for a number of months, and I think predominantly it was down in Tunbridge Wells because I really feel for those guys. But it started to hit the areas where I live in, and I just want you to visualise this, Mark. You go to bed on Friday night after a day's work, you wake up Saturday morning, you go to get in the shower, you turn the dial to get the water out, and nothing. Right, and you think, what, like that, right? And then you realise there's nothing out the taps. And then you start to realise how actually, and we forget this, I think, how much water you actually need. Flushing the toilets, being hygienically
And you
clean.
weren't warned.
Am I what?
Well, you wasn't warned though, turning the water off.
I wasn't warm.
Warned.
Oh no, no, no. They just they just had some weird issue that come out of nowhere, and there was no water at all. No, so if I'd been warned, I would have got bottles of water in, and it was the whole farce around it because the water was off for 2 weekends in a row, and then on and off during the week. And bizarrely, they told us there was a bottled water station 9 mile away through country lanes, by the way. And so I've gone up there, and then they said, "Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, there's no water here till tomorrow." So I'm like, what? So I've just drove 9 miles. So I've then gone to Morrison's, bought bottles of water. But by that point, everyone's bought the nice big 2 litre one. So I've had to get packs of, like the ones you'd send your kids to school with. I've had to get packs and packs of that. And yeah, there was no water. And you forget how much you use it, cleaning your teeth, even cooking. Can't even do your cooking, can't wash your hands. It's crazy. So that's what's doing my head in. How is it this day and age, right? And it's partly because they're all privately owned, but this day and age, water is a necessity of life, and yet in 2026, I'm turning the taps on and I've got nothing.
How long was you out for?
We was out for Saturday and Sunday for 2 consecutive weekends, unplanned, unforeseen, and then sporadically during the week. It was on Monday, then it was off Monday night, then it was kind of on Tuesday
What was the
night, and
reason
then
for it?
huh?
What was the reason?
Well, this is the thing. You don't get the true reason when you look to the online at the app and all the things like that. They were telling you, oh, there's a pump failed at the local pumping station or whatever, or there's something else. There was a power cut. One of them, it just kept changing. 1 minute it was a power cut, then the pumps failed, then they haven't got enough water. And it was like, what do you mean you ain't got enough water? There's more. There's enough water in the field over there. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. Yeah, the excuse kept changing and changing and changing. The reality is, I'll tell you what the reality is. The reality is over the course of the last few years, probably 20 years, that there's been minimal investment. There's just been enough investment to keep the water coming out your tap. That's the reality of it. And to make money at the end of the day, they're not they're not government bodies, they're privately owned companies, and the point of that is to make money. So the more they invest in infrastructure, the less money they make, I suppose.
Well, there's two things doing my fucking head in, Mark. I'll tell you.
What you
First
got?
one is your old one. So travelling by aircraft, your particular dislike in life.
Yeah.
You see, you never get to have an holiday, do you? There's always something going on within the holiday. I've done some work. I went to America, and you think, well, for work, and you think, why is it that they just can't get anything organised on time? That every time you're there, there's either cancellations, and it's all the time. It's not as if it's like, oh, you're a bit unlucky. It's like all the time. There's delays and cancellations. Coming back, I mean, this is a classic. Coming back from New York, snow, real bad snow. So I expected to be cancelled, but they don't tell you that you're going to be cancelled or not until the last minute. So there's people flying in and out from the airport, or driving in and out of the airport, and there's a load of people turn up and they find out they're cancelled, but on their app, it still says that the flight's going ahead. So it's like they get everyone there and then they turn around and tell you. So the day that I was going, there was no information. Is it cancelled? Is it not? All the morning ones, as you look at the app, the morning flights were being cancelled, and you think, shit, okay. So I guess you've got to go to the airport. You can't not go to the airport, can you? And it still looked like it was on time. And I think I was flying out at 8 o'clock. And anyway, they then everything's fine up until the minute you're queuing up. So you come out of the lounge or wherever you're eating, everyone's got to queue up, and then they turn around and say there's a delay. And you think, you know what? Why couldn't you just tell everyone on the board that there's a delay? And then you'd get, you'd stay where you were, wouldn't you? You've waited ages for your seat in the restaurant. You're eating, but they just want you to get out so they can get other people in the restaurant who spend the money, and then you're left to walk around the bloody airport. And then it's I think it's got to be to do, obviously, the weather. You've got to give it a bit. There's nothing to do with the fucking weather, Mark. It was to do with the fucking catering van hadn't turned up because the guy was sick. So the whole flight was delayed for 3.5 hours because of a bread roll. They couldn't get a bread roll on the fucking on the airline. I said to her, seriously. I said to the girl, she come over, she's all happy, sorry about the delays. And I said, look, if there's anyone who can't do a 5.5 hour, 6 hour flight and is going to starve to death, then maybe we should get them a meal now. Get on the plane and fucking go home. But honestly, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. Like, so nothing, storm, whatever it was, completely wiped out New York. The whole of the aircraft engineering team have obviously performed wonders to turn around the planes, clear the snow and everything else. But a Virgin Atlantic flight can't take off because the first class passengers won't get a bread roll.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah.
Unbelievable. Someone could walk to WH Smith's, buy a load of sandwiches from, couldn't they? They just say, look, sorry, we're going home, we're going to be on time. So, 3-4 hour delay just for that.
Do you know what? That's a good point, that is. It's really interesting because it does make you wonder what the contingency plan is. Like, for instance, if you was putting on a board meeting and it was a long one and you'd arrange for a caterer to come in and have a bit of buffet halfway through the board meeting, and then the caterer says, I'm ill or something like that, you'd get someone to run up Marks and Spencer's, or like you say, WH Smith, Sainsbury's, just get some paper plates get a load of sandwiches and crisps, and we'll just do that. That's the contingency plan. But it's interesting that you say that, because obviously there isn't a contingency plan for that. And again, they rely on subcontractors, don't they? Because I remember when I used to do a bit of work airside, and all the plane companies use the same company, the catering company.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
Just on a wind up, honestly.
yeah,
So fucking wind up. But
just
yeah, so and I can report the Americans are as mad as ever, shooting each other when I was over there, and a few gunshots in everywhere you go. But I did go on my first autonomous ride in a taxi. No driver, proper car. Don't
really.
understand. Had wing mirrors. Yeah, I'll show you the video. Steering wheel still, and yeah. So I thought I'd better have a go at one of those. So I met somebody over there, and then had a bit of lunch, and thought, well, I'm going to have a go. I'm going to book it. So you book it like an Uber, and it turns up with my name on the car, and you go up and press the button, get in. As soon as I thought, how's this going to go? And he's kind of half parked. The disappointing thing was he weren't exactly where I was. He was over the road, and he could have parked right outside where I was, the restaurant I was. There was a space, but either in the air, the car was there. I could see it. So I've gone over, pressed the button, got in. You press the thing. You can tune it in with your own Spotify. So I was, but he was kind of in a parking space and out. So as he's gone to pull out, his car's come flying forward because he obviously don't like the fact there's a driverless car, and the fucking brakes are gone. I thought, shit, you know what I mean? What's this going to be like? But to be fair, it was all right. I felt calm. I put Highway to Hell on, as you do, driving down the old road, and spoke to nobody.
Wow. So
I suppose that's the advantage. Because that was in LA, so that's LA cab drivers are exactly the same as London drivers. They talk absolute dog shit, for half the journey. So that's the beauty about it. As if you don't speak to anybody, just play your music.
peace and quiet. Yeah, a bit. Reminds me of that. Do you remember that film with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he gets in the Johnny cab? Total Recall.
See now in Vegas they've got those Johnny cabs, and there's no steering wheel. You get in, and there's nobody in the front, nothing. All you got is a seat that faces you, 3 seats, and you're sitting on a 3-seater, and they just like that, and they're round. But I couldn't get in there. You've got to have an American iPhone account or whatever to get in to book one of those. But they look, but I think everyone's talking about, oh yeah, AI is brilliant. Everyone's using, and we've talked about AI a bit on the pod and me in the past, and everyone's going on and on about how it's helping them, and they're all chat GTP experts now, and they do all their work, and they've saved half the time, and most of it, you can tell they ain't got enough work to do because they're all making stupid cartoons of each other now. It was action men before, wasn't it, in boxes and stuff like that.
That's right, characters now, yeah.
But while you're playing and getting diverted, and they're giving you all these apps, and your brain is over there going how wonderful it is. What you don't realise is that they've just destroyed probably, I don't know, the whole of the taxi network in that particular part of the world. And there's obviously only a few states that have signed off, because you can drive an autonomous vehicle, can't you, over in the UK? But you've got to have you've got to be in the front driver's seat, and you've got to hold the steering wheel every 30 seconds or something. So you can drive them all over the world, but only a couple of states have said, okay, you don't have to do that anymore. You can sit in the back. And once that comes over into the UK or comes over anywhere else, and once they realise that, you know what, this is really safe now, and we can do that with lorries, you tell me where them jobs are going.
Yeah.
And everyone's going, no, it will be, of course it will be. Look, 2 years ago, we were laughing at Google car going around on its own and had a crash or something, and we've been laughing at all these type things. But now we've got 3 or 4 cities, definitely in the US, that are flying around with driverless cabs, and they're not cheaper, by the way, than an Uber. And the Uber was, I felt less safe getting picked up from the car park. The geezer was an absolute lunatic on the motorway than I did in the autonomous vehicle. Well, honestly, the geezer was driving like an absolute lunatic, like get where he needed to get to. And you think, I don't know, I just can't see it. You tell me now in 5 years' time what the world's going to look like, and everyone's saying, don't worry, everyone's overreacting about AI taking over. You know, they might not take over face-to-face interaction of sales and stuff like that, but we do, or operational stuff to get businesses going. But I tell you what, it's certain industries. I wouldn't want to be a taxi driver or an Uber driver now. That's for sure.
No, I think you're right. And I think when you look back to the say 70s, yeah, and the 80s, going like that, you got a situation where technology is advancing and stuff's advancing with it. Yeah, so you know yourself years ago, you paid in cash. Hire documents were all manually written out. Even credit card slips used to write the thing and go, couldn't you remember? Access and all that. And then technology's integrated and it's now it's all digital. Look where we are now, contactless, Apple Pay. You can pay with your watch, pay with a ring now, can't you? You can get a ring that you can pay with. And I think AI is now going to accelerate. If you think about it, the time it took to adopt computers in industry, then the time it took for industry to go online, and now AI's coming, I think it's going to accelerate so fast now that there'll be, rather than a big major change in any industry being a 5-year occurrence, a big major change could be a 6-monthly thing now. Like like a new technology comes in, suddenly we change the way we do it, for better, for worse, or for more money, yeah, and then it'll change again. And I think the advancements now are going to come in so fast. You almost think it is a bit of an example. Obviously, at one point we were on DVDs, weren't we? And then the next thing, it was Blu-ray. And if you think Blu-ray was a flash in the pan, because the minute Blu-ray come out, online streaming came out pretty much after that. So if you think about it, the life of a Blu-ray, so VHS was years, DVD was a few years, not as much as VHS, but Blu-ray in comparison was only actually a flash in the pan in comparison, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because technology moves that quick, and I think AI now is going to accelerate how quickly. Like I was chatting to a mate of mine who's a developer, programmer, and someone would make a change to something internally, and he would have to program all that and go through the code line by line and make sure do a load of testing and make sure that it doesn't crash, and because it could look like it works, but then if you press a certain button in a certain sequence, it could crash, yeah, and then so you'd have lots of testing. But what AI's done is he's saying that you don't even need to write the code. You can ask AI, can you change the code to do this, and it will debug it all for you, and it will test it for you, and then so the change is made in an evening, a change that would normally take the guy 6 months.
Oh yeah, we've gone on and on about it, but I never saw the reality. I mean, things like that have made everyone a computer designer, a graphic designer, videographer. It's opened up all that, but that's made the area quite saturated, hasn't it? Everyone can do anything now, supposedly. But yeah, to see it in reality of actual physical jobs, where what you'd call a traditional job, a driving job, delivery, a parcel's going to be delivered by Amazon drivers in the future?
No. But there was even testing the drones, weren't they? You'd order your aftershave, and then an hour later, a drone drops it off in your back garden. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what they were looking at doing, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they're doing it in certain countries. Don't they do that in Dubai with the drone? I think they do.
I don't know. I've seen videos. I just thought it was a concept video. I didn't realise they were actually doing it. Are they?
Maybe.
Yeah.
What else is doing your head in? Because apart from the Epstein bullshit that I can't can't get by. You know, every time you turn, I don't even turn on the telly now. I'm fed up listening to it.
Yeah, I actually don't even know what's going on there. It seems to be in the headlines, don't it? But what
Well, it's
else is
funny, isn't
good?
it? They go and arrest him. They go and arrest Andrew on his birthday. Happy birthday and all that. But um, they arrest him for trade secrets. Nothing to do with child sex gangs or anything like that, or trafficking children. Forget about that. That doesn't matter. But we've got you on a bit of trade secrets. So he turned around and told them that they're going to build a fucking something or other somewhere else, and you know, like two mates talking in the pub. But that, we'll nick you for that. But we'll forget. We won't mention anything else. It's just doing me nutting.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, mate, I don't
I
know.
mean,
I think the news is changing all the time as well, isn't it? You know, it's Keir Starmer's done this, he's done that, someone else has done this. It's kind of like, you know, there's yeah, we need some good news. That's what we need.
or don't watch the news.
Yeah, I don't. I try not to. Do you know what? I'm too busy. I look at the headlines, and half the stuff I don't click because I just think that's going to be negative. That's going to be negative. You know, and that's the thing, isn't it? That's how they sell. Well, I don't know how they make money nowadays. Because years ago you buy a paper, but do people subscribe to news feeds now? Do people pay for that? Is that what it is?
I think so. They must do. They must do.
Because the crazy thing is, if you went onto Google and you put, oh, what's today's news in the UK, you'd get, like, I don't know, the BBC website would come up with all the news and that. So why would you pay for it? So then how do I do wonder how the news companies make money now? I don't understand. Unless they've got journalists that sell the news to everybody. Maybe that's what they do.
God knows, mate. God knows. But what else is happening in the world of construction and plant that you know?
Well,
Any rumours?
not great deals. I think it's going to be another challenging year. I'm hoping not as bad as last year because that was quiet. This year's there's a bit of a buzz about this year. There's some positive things coming up. There's some good jobs to start. So it's a case of just getting the start dates and then getting on site. Really, to be honest with you, and keen as mustard to get the start dates. I think I'm hoping that this is a little bit of a lull because it's the end of the financial year and April's going to go silly season for them. That would be nice. If we went busy till the end of the year, fantastic. But there's a buzz about this year. I think there's stuff to start, which is good news.
Yeah, there's a little bit out there that's ticking along. Yeah, ticking along. I'm not sure how the big boys are going to cope with the lack of infrastructure work really is going on. And yeah, they showed today that it's been a steady decline of over 300,000 construction workers since COVID in the industry on average.
Really?
Quite a lot, isn't it? Really, considering it was a major employer for the UK.
Mm.
That's quite a bit. And you know, a government that just doesn't really understand. They think that it's all about taxing people and getting tax from people's holidays now to try and make up some money rather than just getting people to work and invest in infrastructure and business and getting people to be employed, and then they'll pay income tax. And do you know what? You get more money. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, they would. Yeah, that's the frustrating thing for me is that when you obviously, like yourself, have been in this industry a long time, and you know, I think the biggest sort of problem that we've had recently is when they put up national insurance, because the way construction works, and you've got to be in it to know it, I suppose, is that you make small percentages. All companies make small percentages of profit, and that's it. And it's done on trying to be efficient, and it's trying to get it done on time or even early. That's how you kind of make your money. Yeah, you got to find efficiencies, get it done early. You have to be very clever about how you can make your profit bigger. Yeah, when you put up national insurance, all of your staff are now paying 2.5% more, aren't they? Yeah, or you are for your staff, and that's a huge bill straight off your bottom line. and companies can't afford to pay. We're not. We're not in the jewelry business. We don't make trainers for £5 and sell them for 95 quid. There are companies out there that trade on 1%, 2%.
Well, that's tough. Anyway, other news, I suppose, exciting news. I said, what else have we been doing? Our friend Darren Barden, who was on the pod, remember?
Oh, yeah.
He's got his iTalk up and running now. And they're doing a thing called, which I'm sponsoring, called Under the Hard Hat, where he's going on site and he's just having a what's your story, just talking, just to encourage people to talk. People don't have to talk about mental health issues that they've had themselves. It's really to do with just getting people to talk, to show it's okay to talk about anything. And some people will just tell the story. We've got a little gift here. I don't know where you can see this, Mark. So let's get this right. So I'm sorry, the camera's going a bit funny.
Oh, nice. What is that?
It's Hector the Protector. So it's a little rhino, and you get one of these if you talk on the video. And we try and take photographs. People are taking photographs of wherever they are, wherever they work, in the tower crane or whatever. But yeah, so it's Under the Hard Hat, and it's Hector the Protector. So it's just something new that's been coming out that or Darren's working on, really, and I'm just supporting him with. So that'd be interesting to see. Watch us on his iTalk YouTube channels and stuff like that coming very shortly. He's got some good sites to go to. Just listening to normal contractors talk about where they come from, what they did, and if they want to talk about any other issues they have, then that's fantastic.
That's fantastic. I think it's really good to talk, and I think it's a really great thing that he's doing, because do you know what the strange thing is? When I talk to customers, when I talk to friends, when I talk to colleagues, everyone, when I actually get talking to people, everyone in some shape or form is going through some shit, right? And it might seem minimal to you because of the way they described it, perhaps, but it's got a bigger impact to them at home, yeah. And I think it's a really good thing, and I don't think people talk enough. And I think the culture. You're right. I think you said it on a previous pod or in previous conversations where, we're in this culture where we're in construction and we're going to get on with our jobs, and that's what it is. And people have got things going on at home that they might need some help with, or they might need to just an ear to talk to without being someone taking the piss, or do you know what I mean? And I think Darren's on a good crusade there, and I think it's changing the culture, isn't it, of the industry to chat and to flag some stuff up and talk to people. Ask for help if you need it.
That was funny when he came on the pod. I mean, people don't understand what actually happened. Me and you being not very organised at the best of times. We've just done a pod ourselves, haven't we? I think it was a sales pod or something like that.
Yeah.
And you said, who's turning up today? And I said, some guy called Darren Barden. So we better check him out. So went on there, and it's author of Let's Get to the Good Bits. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, who we booked here? Is this like some kind of porn for construction guy or something like that? And thinking, what is his book about? And then obviously going on Amazon and reading about his story, we're thinking, geez, we better smarten ourselves up. It was like 2 minutes and he just turned up, didn't we? And it turned out, well, it was a great guest, talked about his passion in football and as well in sport and stuff like that. So that was good. And his story, which is everyone's got to read it, I suppose. And now he's going around the country telling people about that, doing this suicide prevention, working with great companies, around the UK, and everyone's kind of open arms to him. So yeah, we wish him well on that. And I'll be popping up on a few of his videos and his sites just to try and cheer everyone up. Anyone who's interested, they should just contact us or contact Mark. But the other thing I've noticed, I see that the famous podcasts out there, the ones with all the viewers, the Peter Crouch and Abby Clancy podcast, they nicked our nickname.
Have they? What, they got people coming in with nicknames now, though?
Nicknames. To be fair, the funniest one on there, Mark, was hilarious. Someone wrote in and said, that their auntie had been called Auntie Clit, and they didn't know growing up why her name was Auntie Clit. And then they worked out when they got older, her name was actually Joy Button. That's why she got the nickname of that. I thought that was quite funny, but we didn't have that one on our one. But I've nicked that off theirs. But they're going over some of the ones that their people are writing in. They're the ones that we had on ours.
That's it. My favourite one, I think we got to pick an all-time favourite. My favourite one was the guy that wrote in and said, I work with a guy and everyone calls him Pothole because everyone tries to avoid him. I think that was my all-time favourite.
And the one we couldn't have, the guy who wrote in, he said, I've got this guy, this short little fucker, on site. And we couldn't say it at the time, but we'll say it now. And he goes, we'll maybe bleep it out. And it was like, we called him Thrush because he's an irritating little cunt.
Quality.
But yeah, there's a few out there. I'd like to get them going again. I think we should have a spell of them again. See if there's any new ones people can send us.
Yeah, they were good, and I think it gets people interacting with us as well, doesn't it? But we had some really great. In fact, we had so many. We were picking through what you were reading out, weren't you?
Yeah, that's it. So what are we going to look forward to when we dig Charlie back out somehow, wherever he is?
Yeah, where is he? Is he busy today?
Oh, I don't know where he is. He's kind of gone radio silent since the new year, like us really. But things happened, don't they? Things have happened, and but that people don't need to know about, and we've moved on. And so hopefully grab him back, and a few guests coming on. Still got people threatened to come on. We still got to grab them and get them on there. Talk about different things, and so I think basically it's good to catch up with you. It's only a short one today, but we'll keep on going, Mark? See how it goes.
Yeah, 100%. I think we got a few good themes coming up this new season now, and everyone keep listening. Thanks for listening, and keep tuned. We got a lot to talk about and a lot to laugh about as well.
Lovely. All right, I'm going to